Facebook at the 19 Report, and I just hit the record button, which I should have hit when I first started. So I thank you all for tuning in. We won't be long today, but I wanted to go over some things very, very slowly. On last week, we were talking about the lack of love. We came out of the Bible. I don't know what the particular scripture was. Maybe I can find it. But, oh, yeah. Okay. It was 1 John 4 and 2. It was 1 John 4:20 of the King James Version of the Bible, and it reads, "Whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they have never seen." And this goes right in line with today, being that this is the day designated as Easter. So many people dress up, put on their best clothes, get their outfits for that morning service and that Saturday service, and we dress up and we love God, we love Jesus for the time being, but we have very little love and concern for our brother and sister that we see every day. Now, I want to say this. Most people know when to come around to you when you're sick. They see you're sick. They see you're dying. They see you're poor. They see something like that. Most people know to come around at a point like that. But most people don't know how to come around when you're feeling low, but you don't tell anyone that you're feeling low. You need attention, but you don't say, "I need attention," because you don't know how to. Or you have friends, family members who are like vampires. And what I mean by that is that they are able to pretend to either love you or pretend to be interested in what's happening at the time. But in actuality, the underlying lie of how their behavior is actually draining you of power. They are like a vampire, draining you, because now you have to pretend to be having a good time in a situation where you're not having a good time. And so what happens is we begin to become more stiff, more hard-hearted. It is more difficult for us to express how we feel. We become numb, and we begin to go through the motions. This is by design. This is Satan's design. But I want us to understand, God willing, that anything that Satan intends to do, if we say there is a God and God is the opposite of devil and God is above devil, then anything that Satan plans to do, he must get the approval of God first. God either has to say, "Go ahead and do it," or he has to just not react to whatever Satan is doing. Example of that is in the Bible. When the sons of God were coming to worship before God, and it says that Satan came along with him. God says to Satan, "Whence cometh thou?" Satan says, "I'm walking through to and fro in the earth, seeking for souls that I can devour." This is heavy business now. And God says, God didn't say, "Go away and don't bother my saints." He said, "Have you considered my servant Job?" So I said that because I want you to understand something, that today, in 2019, the things that we are blaming devil for, the things that we are saying the devil did this, the devil did that, understand clearly, God is in control. God made Pharaoh stiff-necked. God sent Moses to Pharaoh, and he told Moses, "This guy will not stop. I'm going to send the plagues to him, but he's always going to renege on what he claims he's going to do because he is stiff-necked and he is hard-hearted." And God is allowing us today to become stiff-necked and hard-hearted, because the one things that I pray for, and I understand that has to be just two things mainly right now: that everyone becomes rich, so that you realize that the money is not going to satisfy that urge in you for something that money cannot provide for you. Not that money doesn't have a place. Money will handle probably about 95% of the problems in life that we have, but not within ourselves that we have. The other one is that they go ahead and legalize this marijuana so you can smoke yourself silly. so that we'll understand that this marijuana is not going to do for us what we think it is. A few things with that. We're talking about part 2 of the lack of love, and I didn't get to complete what I wanted to say to you personally about myself. I didn't get to tell you about the chemicals that were produced when love and affection are genuine, and I didn't get to tell you about things that we can do today to kind of begin to practice a different way of thinking, a different way of being. So when a person becomes hard-hearted, they are incapable of being moved to pity or tenderness or unfeeling. And what's happening with us today is that we are hard-hearted people. And the whole purpose of life the whole purpose of this journey through America and through the trials and tribulations that we go through is that we begin to realize the true part of ourselves and the phony part of ourselves. And out of God's mercy, He extracts that phony part of ourselves, that actor, that actress, and he put it on the big screen so that you could see what phony is. But the reverse of that is that we accepted that. Now with the lashes and the makeup and the butt and the boobs and the nails and the eyes and the pretend persona that we adopt, you can't tell who's real and who's not. And in the process of not knowing who's real and who's not, there is no love being emitted genuinely from the spirit, the soul, the heart of each individual. So on Facebook in particular, on social media, you're beginning to see people say, I just don't need nobody. I don't trust this person. This person is a liar. That person is not truthful. We are becoming stiff-necked and hard-hearted, and this is by design. So I want to go into the story of my life. I think I stopped on when I was little. You know, my mom told me pretty much that she just did not want me at that time. Her and my father were on the outs. I looked so much like my dad, and I just did not get the love and compassion and the closeness of a mother that I needed, from a sister or a brother that I needed. I didn't get any of that, the level of it that I needed. What that did to me is it damaged me psychologically, and it damaged me emotionally to the point where I was willing to take the impact of everybody's pain just so everyone else could be happy. And when you do that, you destroy yourself every single day. You die. Every single moment you die because you're lying to yourself in order to be around people that you hope someday will make you happy when, get this now, they don't even realize that you're not happy. So I have 3 sisters now. I lost my brother, I lost my mother, I lost my father. And within a year's time, I might see my sisters twice or maybe 3 times in a year. And one of them used to live right across the street from me. I may see them maybe once or twice a year. And when I see them, what's up? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? And that's it. But when they will go to the end of the earth, in my humble opinion, to show their love, rather it is sincere love or rather it is a lie to other people, constantly in their homes, constantly praying for them, talking to them. And it's to the point now, talking about my life and the lack of love, where I have no desire to be around them at all. The thought of them makes my head hurt, because I know when we are in the presence of each other, it's a lie. How do I know it's a lie? I know it's a lie because nothing is genuine in our conversation, and we end up talking about other people more than how are you doing? How is your life? How are you feeling? It's none of that. So I became hard to them, and if they need blood or bone marrow or something like that, yeah, I'm going to be there for them. That's my family. I'm supposed to be. But in terms of the love that we should have generated as a family, it did not happen. And it is a lie, and it is fooled many people. Many people have come to my home and, oh, y'all look so, I'm like, bro, this is not real. This is all a lie. It's not real. I don't feel it. So that lack of love in a mother-child relationship or any relationship, It causes extreme damage to the psyche of the person who doesn't feel the love. I'm saying this for a reason. This world has methodically designed life to be a lie. That lie makes us to think that everything we see is the truth. We are not even in a position to examine the truth to find out if it's the truth or not, because we're so eager to believe that everything is okay. Social media was designed that we could create a persona of ourselves and project that to the world. You can't even fight a cause today out of fear that you're going to lose something. So where there are situations that need for us to speak out, we can't do it. And silence is consent. And silence in a situation where someone should speak out is a sin. I don't know where people get the idea that they follow Christ so well when the things that Christ did, we don't do. We are the exact opposite. So in actuality, most of us are indeed anti-Christ. Christ see a devil. He says, you and I are not the same. You are of your father, the devil. We say everybody is a saint. Oh, he's blessed and highly favored. He's blessed because he's smiling. He shouted in church today. He's blessed. She sung a song. She's blessed. But when they leave, they go to the crack pipe, to the whorehouse, to becoming a whore, to sleeping with married people, to gossip, to lying, to whatever is necessary to make us feel as if though we are better than the next person. We're talking about part 2, lack of love. And a lack of love, a lack of genuine love, has the reverse effect and effect on the human mind, the human body, the human spirit. And that is why we are becoming so numb. See, we only react through emotions now. So when we see somebody appear to be wrongfully gunned down in the street or something like that, we react emotionally. We are bandwagon jumpers. So I want to go into some things right now, and I want to take my time with it if possible. But I want to go into something that I wanted to. I think I finished saying what I had to say about myself. I'm 48, 49 years old, and I tell you the truth, man. Love is something hard to find. So if you find genuine love, hold on to it. It is something that is valuable, that we need, that we don't have. So I want to go into this right now, how a parent's affection shapes a child's happiness for life. And I want to go through this. I want to read pieces of it. This is what I had intended of reading last week, but I didn't get to it. And I want to show you how people who are genuinely concerned about a situation will study it for years. White people in particular will study something for years to see the adverse reaction to different behavior patterns and what is best to use at a particular time. That is called running a marathon. We are sprint runners. We want everything answered immediately, or we're going to go to the next thing. This is why we're not strong producers of anything. We are not collective producers of anything, because we are quick to turn our backs on anything that does not produce what we think it should in the next 5 days. Now, research over the past decade highlights the link between affection in childhood and health and happiness in the future. Science support the idea that warmth and affection expressed by parents to their children result in a lifelong positive outcome for their children. This is according to Child Trends, the leading nonprofit research organization in the United States. Now, high self-esteem, improved academic performance, better parent-child communication, and fewer psychological and behavior problems have been linked to this type of affection. In the black community, we think that marijuana gonna fix all that. We even blowing marijuana smoke in the face of our children like we gave them liquor back in the day, talking about it killed heartworms and stomach worms. Anything to put them to sleep, to make them feel as if though they are euphoric. Our answer to all the questions is the easy way out. Because we become a selfish people who only desire to answer our own selfish desires and everybody else is secondary or third to that. Now, on the other hand, children who do not have affectionate parents tend to have lower self-esteem and to feel more alienated, hostile, aggressive, and antisocial. Now, I did not feel the affection that I needed a ton of affection. And I believe that if I had gotten that ton of affection, I was born different. If I had gotten that ton of affection when I was younger, it could have steered me in a direction that was more positive for my own life, that I wouldn't be so quick to second guess what I desire to do, because what I desire to do is outside of the realms of what everyone else is doing. From religious understanding to everything else, I want to understand. I want to eat right. I want to make sure that all of these medicines that are being given to our children and to us, I want to understand these things. But because of that, even that, I'm ostracized. I'm the troublemaker. I don't go along to get along. I don't conform. And conformity, if you don't conform, you become a problem. You know it. Many of you are the same way in your households. Now, there have been a number of recent studies that highlighted the relationship between parental affection and the children's happiness and success. In 2010, they did one at the Duke Medical Center, where babies with very affectionate and attentive mothers grew up to be happier. Listen to this now. More resilient, less anxious adults. The study involved approximately 500 people who were followed for, listen how long, who were followed from when they were infants until they were in their 30s. 30 years they conducted this study to find out the effects of affection on the minds of the children. You and I, if we decide to do something today and it doesn't work out within the next week, I don't want to do nothing else with black people. Black people are just bad people, and I ain't going to do no more business with black people. You have no love. And there is no race of people that should have any respect for you at all. So knowing that you don't have the respect that you don't even think you deserve, we are so quick to capitulate to someone else's point of view. You're so quick to attack your own because they say, let's try to do something for ourselves. At least try. This is nothing new. In the Bible, Moses leading the people to the promised land under God's instructions, the people complained the whole way. So much so that a trip that would have taken 30 days or less ended up taking 40 years because of their unwillingness to obey the laws that God had given to Moses for them to overtake a land and do something for themselves. It's no different than what's happening now. Our lack of love for ourselves, our lack of love for something bigger than ourselves, and this is why we can't relate God to us. This is why in the black community, you have to relate God to being white and Jesus to being white, because you don't have enough love for yourself to believe that anything of value can come from your skin color. So everything you are satisfied to put it in a white face, even after it has been proven that Christ could not have been Caucasian because of his genealogy, where he was, who he was, how he was described. Not saying that no prophet or messenger was white, but that one wasn't. But you are not happy until that man becomes Caucasian. Even though it's a lie, then you're satisfied. That is a lack of love that is going to be detrimental to you, black people, and to white people, because they will never get to know the richness of your culture. As a black man, if you marry a white woman, you can't take her nowhere but the ghetto and show her how to eat hog maws and chicken chitlins. You have no connection to your past. But as a Caucasian or Irish or Italian, they can take you to their community and show you all of their traditions and culture and language. I've seen it happen before. You have nothing to offer anyone because you reject your past and you reject your future, and you allow your children to go into a promised land blind to the knowledge of their past. So they destroyed that promised land. The reason they destroyed it, and the reason I know it, because at the end of the the whole history of God's mercy were the promised land, the book would have stopped right there, but it didn't. And the reason it didn't is because the children who received the promised land, and that is the millennials today, they're screwed up because of a lack of genuine genealogy love. Now, when the babies were 8 months old, psychologists observed their mothers' interactions with them as they took several development tests. The psychologists rated the mother's affection and attention level on a 5-point scale ranging from negative to extravagant. Nearly 10% of mothers showed low levels of affection because they didn't know how to. 85% demonstrated a normal amount of affection, and about 6% showed high levels of affection. The best parents that we have, the best that they show on social media is their children being dressed up, going somewhere, their children following the rules of the land and getting good grades, or their children going to church, going to college, but very little affectionate things. Things that show how much you love your child. Very little of that. In fact, you ever very rarely see the word love, adore, or any of these affectionate words relating to the pictures that you see on social media. And you rarely see in the eyes of the children genuine love for their parents. What you see is genuine love for being told, smile, smile, smile. Smile for the camera. This is going on Facebook right here. This Facebook Live. But if you have empathy in your heart, empathy in your soul, born empathetic like I have been born empathetic, you can see through all the smiles, you can see through all of the pain, and you can tell when a person is genuinely hurting. Now, this is the part that I wanted to get to last week that I didn't. The research involved in this study concluded that the hormone oxytocin, 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 may be responsible for this affection. We think today that allowing our children to be whatever they want to be is proof that I'm going to love them regardless if they look like a lizard or a dog with a tail. If they fall in love with a dog or a bird or a sheep, I'm going to just love them because I just love them. Now, I kill for my children now. Of course we will. Because that is, when someone says your child is something other than what you think, that's offensive. So you want to fight, you want to get out there and you want to be aggressive. But how many of us just sit them down sometimes and say, listen, tell me what's going on with your day, how things go. Tell me the truth about it. Now, sometimes the children will reject your genuine love, and I don't know what to do about that. But like I tell my children, if I had a father to love me like I loved them and tried to teach them, I would have been a very happy little boy. We are broadcasting live on Instagram. I don't know why it got so cloudy all of a sudden on Instagram. And we are broadcasting live on Facebook. And again, this is Easter Sunday, so everybody's done church. I imagine we out cooking out now and drinking liquor and other stuff. So, and you know, I mean, I don't know, whatever. So I don't expect many people to be on. That's your business what you do, though. I'm just saying. So we're gonna continue on now. This oxytocin. I want to read this. It says oxytocin is a chemical in the brain released during times when a person feels love. Better than weed, better than liquor, better than most of the drugs that we are so accustomed to. But these things give us an instant. And that's why we end up having an emotional tie to drugs, because we're looking for love. So now people are posting up buds of marijuana. They love it. I just love it. I love this bud. Emotional ties to chemicals, because we don't have emotional ties to people. So the oxytocin that affection between a parent should produce, we have affection with a dildo, a vibrator, a drug, weed, marijuana, blue, purple, brown. That type of love for gangs that go around killing, that type of love for politicians, crooked down to the core, preachers that you know are no good, people on the street that you know, pimps, everything. No good. We just got a love for that. because it produces something in us that genuine love cannot produce. It's not exciting enough. So oxytocin is a chemical in the brain released during times when a person feels love and connection. It has been shown to help parents bond with their children, adding a sense of trust and support between them. This bond most likely helps our brain produce and use oxytocin, causing a child to feel more positive emotions. You know, they used to just cut the umbilical cord when I had my son. They cut the cord, snatch the baby up, take him in another room, wash him up, shoot him up full of chemicals, and then wrap him up and bring him back to you. But now they are going back, some hospitals, to where immediately after they cut the umbilical cord, the parent takes off their shirt, they put the child on the mother's breast, then if the father is present, they put the child on the father, skin to skin, because you're trying to produce that oxytocin that will make that child feel enough love to build themselves up and be strong enough to make it through the first stages of life. I'll give hospitals, some of them, that much credit. They're doing that now. That's why most white people had wet nurses, where they did the birth at home, because they wanted the genuine love, and also they wanted to keep the child connected to the placenta until all of the nutrients from this placenta goes through the umbilical cord to the child. As I said on last week, when you cut that placenta too soon and disconnect it, you're shocking that child, because that's their food source. Same thing they do to food in the stores. When you see bananas on the shelves and they're green, they did not allow the banana to suck the nutrients from the root and the tree in order to feel the love to produce the chemicals in the banana. That's when we eat it, we get those chemicals. All we get when we eat the banana, in most cases, is just the taste of a banana, but not the nutrients. That's likewise with oranges. They actually spray paint the oranges, or give them you can rub the orange on your skin and actually get the paint off on you. Apples, the same thing. They polish them, anything. They're taking it from the root source too fast. Therefore, it is not produced in love. And we're eating out so much from people who hate their job. Parents used to cook with love, so the love energy would emanate through the food to you. This tastes good, mama. You put your foot in it. Now you're digging through it to see if you're going to see rat droppings in it before you eat it, because we are so accustomed to eating out. We're talking about lack of love, completing what we talked about, myself and Dale Powell, on last week on Like It Is. If you would like to catch us next week, we'll be on at 6:30 p.m. every Sunday. Within the week, you can join up with myself, Jamil Zamir, on Facebook or Instagram, or the 19 Report on YouTube, and find out what the topic will be about. Again, oxytocin are the chemicals that should be produced when a parent is expressing the proper love for a child, not as if though the child is some project that you're trying to prove that you're a good parent, so you dress them well, make sure they get good grades, and all of that. That's good, but that's just programming them into society. That's social programming. That's a little bit different. Although it looks good, you'll find later on in life that there is some mental issues going on within that child and within that parent, because you ain't going to make me look bad. So you're going to do everything that I tell you to do the way I tell you to do it, and I'm going to take everything from you. So when I'm around most of my family, I don't feel it. I was in need. I was homeless one time, and when Hurricane Hugo hit, and I called my sister and brother-in-law to stay with them, and they allowed me to stay with them for, I don't know how long, but it was pretty long. And then they gave me a note asking me when I was going to leave. I didn't want to be there to start with. I was working at the time, but I just, when a person does not see what you're doing, then they do things for you out of pity and not out of empathy. So when a person pities you, it's like they're doing you a favor, not like they're helping you to get higher in life. And when a person has no belief in what you are, who you are, there's no way they can help you. And most of the people that I am around have very little belief. So I've always been a striver. And I don't care what people say about me. It angers me. And really, if I was a fighter, I probably would be in prison for killing people. But I thank Allah that he takes that out of me. But people anger me because they'll run up ahead of you and they'll destroy your life with what they hear and what they think they know. You know it happens to you too. And now you got to fight your way out of that. And every now and then, some people you meet, it'll slip. You're nothing like I thought you were. You're nothing like they said you were. They who? So it's very unfortunate. And you never reach back and say thank you so much. You never say, oh, if it wasn't for my uncle, if it wasn't for Keith, if it wasn't. No. But once you set your stamp and you've had that so-called vision or dream where you see something going wrong and you done tell everybody that boy ain't no good now. I saw it in a dream. I could do 100 things right for 100 years, and on the 101 year, I do one thing wrong. They'll point at, see, I told you God didn't let me down. See, he's a bad person. So people like that, I mean, listen, man. Blood doesn't make family. Blood doesn't a family make. I just don't feel it. There's nothing I wouldn't do for them, and I don't believe there's anything they wouldn't do for me, but it's more out of obligation than it is out of love. I know you understand that. You have family like that too. Finally, numerous studies on the effects of massages show the positive benefits it offers to reduce anxiety in children, just giving them a physical massage, because we're not used to touching each other. Massage is also a good way for parents to connect to their children, both physically and emotionally. This world has been made so corrupt and filthy that if you touch your child and the oxytocin begins to flow between you and your child, you may get an erection or get excited, and you think it's supposed to be a sexual thing when it has nothing to do with that. It's just the chemicals that are produced between parent and child to create love, and we can't handle that. Most parents all in the church, they just love Jesus so much, but cannot show that kind of love to their child. Can't hug them, can't tell them they love them, can't rub them, can't hold their hand, can't do nothing. So now how can we bring more affection into our families today? From the moment you bring your baby home from the hospital, be sure to hold, touch, and rock them in your arms. We're usually pretty good at that. As they get older, be playful. We're usually pretty good at that. Set a reminder to make sure hugging is a part of your daily routine. We're usually pretty good at that. Use affection while disciplining your children. We are okay with that, but not the best. And I want to also say that all I needed to hear was words of encouragement like, you can do it. I'm proud of you. I hope you'll keep going with what you're going with and things like that. That's all I needed to hear. But we're at a time right now, unfortunately, where people are so stiff, so hard-hearted that we're willing to do whatever it takes for us to feel good. We have little to no concern for the next person. So I thank you for listening. I wanted to finish that. I wanted to finish that part of the lack of love, and I wanted to complete how I felt, how I feel with my family, how I feel with most people. I just don't like people who aren't genuine. I don't like people who have been trained in the art of being phony. I don't like that. And I don't function well around people who are that way. And many of you don't function well around them either, because we talk as if though no one knows our life, but most people already know us, know what we are about and how we are. And then we pretend to be something else when we're out. And that I don't like. I just don't like it. Now, in closing, I want to say this, few things. If I can remember what I'm supposed to say, God help me. There was a bombing in Sri Lanka. I think it's Sri Lanka. Maybe 200 to 400 people dead at a church service in Sri Lanka. I want to encourage people in the South in particular who have churches to begin to get security from the members, the men and the women of your church, Everybody don't have to sit down and clap and shout and yell. 5 or 6 people, two, if you have 2 doors from the where the wherever the doors are outside, there should be people outside of those doors during the entire service. People outside of the door during the entire service. Someone walking the ground during the entire service. People at the back of the church by the door during the entire service. And 2 people up front on each corner near the minister during the entire service, right by the back door, right at the front. So whatever pops off, there is security around the building. That should be mandatory by now. God is showing us to protect your flock. That should be mandatory by now. That's one thing. The other thing, oh my God. When I was 45, I got a what do you call it? Oh my God, what is it? God help me. A colonoscopy. I got a colonoscopy done when I was, I think, 35. And during that colonoscopy, they took out 4 polyps. Now, polyps are like little mushrooms in your intestinal tract that could become cancerous. If found in time, sometimes they could take them out and test them and let you know where you stand. That one wasn't so bad. I had one Friday for my 50th birthday, and they found 6 polyps this time. And I eat pretty healthy. I don't eat a lot of, I just got into eating too much fried foods maybe in the last couple of months because of stress. But 6 polyps, and they had to cut them out. I never had like rectal bleeding or anything, but this time I had rectal bleeding, and my stomach still hurts real bad, and I feel very queasy. But I encourage people, especially men, to get yourselves tested for colorectal cancer. Get your screenings done, and women as well. Get your screenings done. They may find something, they may not find it, but it's best to go ahead and get it done. It is an operation. You have to be put under sedation. It usually lasts about an hour. You wake up, you have you can't eat that day. Same, this is an operation, full operation. So I encourage people to do that out of love for yourself. And the reason I encourage that is because when they found the polyps, they said, you need to eat more vegetables and fruits. And I'm saying to them, I do. I eat vegetables all the time. I eat fruits all the time. I eat smoothies and everything else. But like I was saying earlier, when the fruits and vegetables are plucked from the vine too soon, the nutrients that are supposed to be in that fruit and vegetable are not there. So what you have to do, and it's not just Whole Foods, because Whole Foods is being uncovered as a farce. They're just as bad as going to Walmart or something like that for fruits and vegetables. They're very poor in quality in a lot of things and a little too expensive. And even if you grow it yourself, what happens is that the seeds will not grow in your soil without all of these chemicals being poured on them, just like the marijuana. Marijuana will not grow if you don't keep them separated, male from female, and keep all of these chemicals on them to keep the spider mites off of them and all of these other chemicals off of them. So you're introducing chemicals in. So you're not just smoking weed from the earth, you're smoking chemicals too. You're not just eating fruits and vegetables from the earth, you're eating chemicals too. So I encourage people to get that done. When you're in your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s, if your insurance will pay for it. And if you have the money, go ahead and do that. Again, I thank everybody. This has been Jamil Salib Zamir for the 19 Report, and this has been part 2. I wanted to finish with the oxytocin, the chemical that is produced when love is present. And I hope that we will study that more and understand what love is, why love is, and why love is so important, and why we are losing family. We're losing family so much because there is no genuine love, and we don't even know how to express genuine love. I am the first to tell you that I don't know how to recognize genuine love, and I don't know how to express genuine love, but I'm on a crusade to learn it before I die. because I want to give it to my children. I want to give it to my wife. I want to give it to myself. And we should want that because God is what? God is love. So I want to go through this real quickly, make sure I did everything I'm supposed to do. I think I did. Yes, with that. And let me see on here. Thank you all for tuning in. And again, I hope we will begin to grow in our understanding of things. I want to leave you with this. God is being eliminated from the mind, from the actions, and from the soul of the people. And we are confusing acts of kindness with genuine love. I'm going to say that again. We are beginning to confuse acts of kindness, and this has been going on for a long time, because that's why social media and things of that nature are so important. And that's why you have all of these gurus who are teaching you how to act, how to behave, how to win friends and influence people, how to become what people want to see so you can attract them so that they will listen to whatever you have to say, or so that they will participate or contribute to whatever you're doing because you look like what they want in a leader. Acts of kindness, we are confusing with genuine love. Acts of kindness are usually done in emergencies or as a means to an end. An act of kindness to me, if I see someone on the side of the road, I may not know them or I may know them. If their tire is flat, I'm going to stop. I'm going to help them. I genuinely wanted to do that, but that is an act of kindness. But the act itself has no emotional ties to the person. So the things that we do today have little to no emotional ties to the people that we claim to love. So we use that word love generalized. We generalize the word. And most of us live our lives miserable because we never felt real love. And most of us put that same emotion onto other people and they never feel genuine love. There is no love involved with the act of kindness. It's simple business or an obligation that we are responsible to fulfill. People are taking care of children that they birth into the world, not with love, but out of a sense of duty and an act of kindness. Obligations that have very few of the elements of love in it. So the children, like myself, grow up distressed, well-dressed, appearing well, but very, very empty inside. So I'm cautioning us today, if we can get ourselves together long enough to begin to talk, and if maybe, like I told an associate of mine, if I can't talk to my son, maybe he can come to you and talk to you, and you can relay the message to me to where I'm falling short with him, or any of my children for that matter. So I thank you for tuning in. This has been Jamil Salib Zamir of the 19 Report and Telling It Like It Is. We'll be back on next week. Like I said, Dale and a few of the other brothers, T-Mac and Antonio Green, I don't want to miss anyone, and Lee Felder, and there's another gentleman on the flyer, and Deshaun Rankins. They had the Men at War seminar with the little children on Saturday. And again, I want to say this about events like that. Mothers, please stop bringing your children to events and just dropping them off and going and doing what you want to do. Men, we're not here to babysit your children. We're here to help you and them and us get better at communication. Your presence is necessary when these events are going on. Not that you drop them off and leave them there. This ain't no birthday party. This is an event trying to teach them how to express how they feel, and it would be great if you would stay. Fathers, the same thing. And anytime you're having an event, you be careful promoting it online, and all of those 450 people that say they're going to show up online, they're lying to you. Social media is such a big lie, man. They don't have no intentions of showing up. They're not coming. So you're preparing for this big crowd, and you probably get 5 or 6 people to come because they are liars. And we are masters of the lie because we're being trained Hollywood. The world is Hollywood. Look at it. Look at the flashing of the money, the flashy cars, the flashy homes with 2 people in it, but the home got 24 stories in it and 569 rooms. 2 people. The world has become Hollywood. So we have to become committed, and we have to say things out of love. We have to do things out of love, and we have to be genuine in it. I hope you all will share this information, share it, share it, share it. I know it is absolutely, I see this lady that comes on every day, and she's gossiping and gossiping. It's a lady from, I don't know where she's from, Chicago or somewhere, but she's always talking about Cardi B and all of these things that have absolutely nothing to do with you and I and our condition. And she'll have 5,000 views and 700 shares. We just love gossip. And we love things that we think don't pertain to us. And anything that can keep us occupied, we love it. But something that says, look into yourself and find solutions within yourself, and it's going to take time to produce it, we don't want it. And this is why we have no factories. We have no jobs. We work for somebody. You work for somebody. I don't care what your degree or your level of education is. If they tell you your job is gone, you're behind to go home and sit until you find another job or lose everything that you worked for somebody else for. Because we don't have the zeal, the drive to get up and do something for ourselves long term. If it doesn't break apart in a few days, because most of you are riding on other people's pain and sorrow. They built it and you rolled in on it. That's why I have no respect for you. You don't even say thank you. You act as if though you just made this thing up out of the blue. Some of you are horrible. And I am not one to say what's for me, and I pray things good happen to you. I don't pray nothing. If you fall off a horse, I wouldn't care one way or another, and I'm quite sure you feel the same about me. But I'm being genuine, though. I'm telling you the God's honest truth. I don't love everybody, and God don't love everybody. Look it up. Look up what God hates. 6 things, and they'll all fall under the same umbrella of what I'm saying right now. Haughty people, a tongue quick to spread gossip, a lying tongue. I can't remember the rest, but he just hates them. And whether it pertains to me or not, I hate it as well. So I thank you for tuning in. Jamil Salib Zamir, the 19 Report, Manning, South Carolina. And I will see you guys, God willing, maybe this week or on Sunday at 6:30. I really wanted to go in on that Easter thing, but I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. So it is what it is. God is the greatest. Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you so very much for tuning in to this month installment of the 19 Report. I am your host, Brother Johnny. I walked a thin line between right and wrong, took my fears to God, then I wrote this song. The spirit kept calling, so I answered the phone, and then I manned up and got some backbone. My mind resonates at a much higher tone. Solid foundation, empire zone. 3 mountains, I'm in one, right to left counted, 9 and then 1, left to right switch it, 1 and then 9, west to east, south to north, a thin line. I know Christ exists, cause his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. Yeah, we in there.